Nerdrotic.com.
So CinemaCon happens. They dropped the Doomsday trailer. I think some people thought it would come out today. I mean, I guess it still could, but I doubt it. I think they're going to sit on that one for a while. I think they're trying to create hype, and I'm not like, I think this is actually a good idea. They show it to the people at CinemaCon so all the critics can feel special. And then the critics create the hype and it starts leaking. And this is everything Disney Marvel wants because they need energy behind something they're doing because they haven't had any at all. Let's look back at the last year and 4 months. So beginning January 1st, 2025 to today. Everything they've put out has failed. Absolutely everything. And it's starting to look like DC did before James Gunn took over, and they just had these obligatory films they had to put out, and they just flopped. So Marvel's looking like right now. There's no energy behind it at all. The fact of the matter is, this will be the subject of my next video, is they are trying. They are actually trying to change. I just don't think they can. So we've had Daredevil, Born Again Season 1 and 2. And if you go on X, there'll be some passionate people telling you that this is the greatest thing since the Netflix series, or even better than the Netflix series. But in reality, nobody's watching it. It's hard to say whether it's actually well received or not. It's got really high Metacritic scores. It's got high Rotten Tomatoes scores. So for the people who are watching it, I think it's well received, relatively well received for the most part. Same thing could be said about Thunderbolts. For the few people who watched it, it was relatively well received. Unfortunately, not enough people watched it. Not enough people are watching Daredevil to justify its expense. So hence we have a Doomsday that will be the most expensive pair of movies in the history of time. More expensive than Avatar. We'll never know the real number, but you can't tell me you're paying the Russo brothers 100 million, 80 to 100 million, not counting whatever they make off the back end. Robert Downey Jr. making anywhere from 50 to 100 million, not counting what he's making off the back end. We don't know what Chris Evans is making, but I'm guessing it's not nothing. Plus the potential 35 other cast members. It's not like Hugh Jackman's working for scale, even if he's in it for a few minutes. It's not like Tobey Maguire is working for scale. So it's going to be a really expensive movie. They're still in post-production, and Marvel has fired almost their entire visual effects team. Wanted to get to this right away, though, because this gave me a new idea. And I love Robert. Robert Meyer Burnett is a good, genuine dude. He's passionate about things. Somebody responded with my thing. I'm glad this happened. This is good. This is good. This will, we can discuss this right now. All right, so let's look at Zemo's tweet. Are people really this dumb? Russo clearly meant story-wise. The film picks up threads left by Endgame, bringing back Steve Rogers and exploring how his choice to go back in time may have impacted the multiverse. Not that phase 4 and 5 suddenly don't matter anymore. And Robert just says correct, and that's fine. Robert's read the script. Okay, now he's read the script prior to reshoots. I don't know what script he read. I think it had to be one after they finished principal photography, because the script wasn't written while they were in principal photography. I know that for a fact. They were punching up lines and stuff, and Michael Waldron was there. Michael Waldron, who gave us Loki, bisexual Loki, Infinity Stones as paperweights. I just got a flash flood warning. Not surprising, considering it's been raining for like 72 hours straight. The Memory Store from Doctor Strangelove, that Michael Waldron. All right, so Robert just said correct. That's fine. Here is my retort. So what you're telling me is they don't want us to forget phase 4 and 5? That's interesting. For one, let's just take what the directors say at face value, and let's go back to Endgame and Steve Rogers' decision to hand the shield over to Sam Wilson and fuck off into the past and live his life with Haley Atwell, with Agent Carter. I mean, if you look at those fun bags, you understand. But as many said then, and I will say now, that is contradictory to everything Steve Rogers is about. He would never fucking do that. So you're telling me that the guy who risked everything for Bucky We'll just sit by and watch Kennedy get assassinated, the Vietnam War happen, the Twin Towers fall, just sit out most of the Cold War. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? So from the get-go, this was stupid. So now the Russo brothers feel like they have an opportunity to fix how fucking stupid this was. The 5-year blip was stupid. It ruined Marvel. Before we get into the intersectional feminism and the identity politics, the 5-year blip ruined Marvel. It was fucking dumb. There was no way to resolve that. It wasn't thought out very well. And it was all to preserve a daughter from Tony Stark that he probably could have had anyway that we haven't seen since. So Robert's read the script. Maybe he could answer this. Now, I know the plot. I haven't read the script. I know how thin it is, but maybe he can answer that. If Phase 5 and Phase 4 are still going to be important, are they going to, I don't know, answer the open threads left by both of those phases, for which there are many. I think there are at least 17 major open threads from Marvel's Phase 4 and 5 that I'm betting the vast majority don't get resolved or even mentioned. Are they going to mention Kang at all? They'll probably, say he died or something, but that'll be it. If phases 4 and 5 happen. Now, one of those phases is White Vision, or one of those open threads is White Vision. That's going to get taken care of in Vision Quest, which will not be connected to Avengers Doomsday in any way, shape, or form, as far as I know. Sharon Carter, the power broker. Remember the stinger from Falcon and Winter Soldier? Going to bring that up. How about the signal from space to the 10 rings? We're going to talk about that. How about the Young Avengers or the Champions / the Champions? We're gonna bring that up again. Black Knight, who spoke to Blade after the Eternals. One of the Celestials coming back for Judgment. Are we going to see the Eternals at all? Doomsday doesn't feature Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange mom literally ended with him and Clea going into an incursion. Now, I have a feeling they'll get to that one in Secret War. Kind of strange that they're not getting it, for lack of a better description. They're not getting to it in Doomsday. Hercules at the end of Thor. Previously mentioned Council of Kangs. Where are the new Guardians of the Galaxy? And there is so much more. Now, Monica Rambeau being trapped in another universe with Beast, I'm sure they'll answer that. I'm sure all of these, because Phase 4 and 5 were so important, and believe me, I'm just scratching the surface on the shit that they've left open, that they're going to answer everything. Or, hear me out, they're just going to deal with that open plot thread from Endgame, and I think at best, some of this stuff will be resolved in a single line of dialogue. If that, which at the end of the day will mean that phases 4 and 5 didn't really matter that much. But it's my favorite thing when Rando on X go, are these people dumb? The media illiteracy is unbelievable. Disney Marvel does not deserve any benefit of the doubt. I will list you Daredevil Born Again, season 1 and 2, Wonder Man, Thunderbolts, Captain African American, Fantastic Four, First Steps, Ironheart. That is the last 6 things they put out in the last year and 4 months. None of them have been successful. Wonder Man was picked up for a season 2. It didn't chart, even though despite it being released all at once, it did not chart, but it was cheap. So why not pick it up? It might have been picked up previously. I don't know. It's a mystery how fucking Marvel runs their operation at this point. Fantastic Four, First Steps, the most successful of the flops, still flopped. Thunderbolts flopped miserably. Captain African American lost shitloads of money for them because it was shot essentially twice. And these aren't just rumors from the Wrap. This is people who worked on this who no longer work at Disney. I lost one of my sources. He was one of the casualties, which is a bummer. But yep, he's still got some stuff on Doomsday. But according to people who have, up until very recently, because they got fired, have seen dailies from Doomsday, have seen a lot of stuff. The word from inside is, and these are people who are fans. These are people who, like, for instance, the person I talked to loved Wonder Man, absolutely loved it, said it was one of the best things they did. He was like, on Doomsday, he's like, it's all right. So this is big fan, got a paycheck from the company, and this is before he got fired. And he's like, this is the guy who told me Tobey Maguire was in the beginning, and he gets offed. And the whole thing is, he's like, okay, he was trying to preface by telling me, he's all, listen, they're really trying to like create some stakes. They're swinging for the fences. They really want this one to have impact early on. And I'm like, so you're going to kill the single most popular character this side of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man in all of Marvel and that world right off the bat? He's like, yeah. I'm like, ooh. Now, of course, most everybody's coming back. There will get like pretty much everybody's going to die, and then they'll be brought back for Battle World by the end of the film. Now, I don't know if they bring everybody back at the end. I didn't get word on that. Robert would probably know. I mean, my question is, are we going to have an entire movie on Battle World like after that? That sounds like the final battle of Endgame in like, which looked like mud. I lost count how many times Professor X died, dear chat. This will be fourth. Maybe it just feels like a lot. He definitely died in X-Men 3, and then he died in Logan. He will be dying again. Yes. Technically, he dies in Days of Future Past. Okay, so that's 3. So this will be 4. He died in Picard season 1. But then they brought him back as a fucking robot. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he died in Doctor Strange Mom. Thank you, chat. I almost forgot. So yeah, this will be his 5th death. Oh, that'll be a good supercut. All the times Professor X dies. Getting killed by Wanda Maximoff. Fucking Professor X. They've really, over the years, they've amped up Wanda's powers, turning her into like demigod in the comics. Been kind of my, like, this goes before, like, this is an actual Marvel problem. I really hated how much they amped up. Fucking, they've just gassed up Black Panther unbelievably over the last 20 years. I mean, kind of starting with Christopher Priest, although his run was pretty good. But then when Reggie Hunlin comes in and he's like fucking beating Silver Surfer, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I was so mad. And it's so obvious. Like, oh, God. The reality is that T'Challa, well, I think T'Challa's the Black Panther, the only Black Panther. As far as like interesting and engaging characters, it's all right. I've always liked him better as a member of the Avengers. But it's not like Black Panther comics like flew off the shelves for years on end, right? They would have good, if you go to put a good creative team on it, it would sell well, but it would always phase out. So to Zemo, maybe I will retort. Are you that dumb to believe the Russos when they tell you that they're going to make a direct sequel to Endgame and not just forget about Phase 4 and 5? I guess we'll find out when the movie comes out. And again, I'm looking forward to having all those Phase 4 and 5 plot threads tied up in a nice little bow. Want to see Harry Styles as Star Fox? Yeah, is Monica Rambeau in this movie? I don't think she is. But Beast is going to be in the movie. So they're going to have Beast and no, it wasn't Monica Rambeau who was there. Was it Monica? It was one of the Rambos was trapped in their universe. So I'm wondering if she's not going to be in it. Yeah, so there's no Brie Larson Captain Marvel. There's no Photon or whatever the hell they're going to call her. What about Doctor Strange's third eye? I guess we'll find out in Secret Wars. Proton, sorry. I say Photon, Proton. But none of the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in it. Brie Larson's not going to be in it. She-Hulk's not going to be in it. King Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson is not going to be in it. I know that crushes everybody. No Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. You know what? I'm gonna agree with you, and I said it at the time, and I think she understands that. I can't find the chat now. He says they did Brie dirty. They kind of did. If you look at it, they put her out there and said, "You're going to be the new face of Marvel. You're going to lead the Avengers. We're going to make you the female Superman. The sky's the limit for you, kid. You're going to be in all the movies, all the Avengers." And then they just stopped calling her, and they stopped calling her after Captain Marvel did $1 billion because they understood why it was successful. I mean, gone are the days where you can put out an Aquaman and Captain Marvel and get $1 billion. Those days are gone. The young lady playing Miss Marvel is actually a charming actress. Aman Vellani and Haley, I can never say, I always want to say Seinfeld, but it's Steinfeld, are both improvements on the comic book character, if I'm being real. So Aman Vellani playing Miss Marvel and Haley Steinfeld playing Kate Bishop, they play those characters, and those are actual characters that are better live action by orders of magnitude than they are in the comic books. They're insufferable. See you next Tuesdays in the comic book, but the two actresses who play them, the shows weren't good, but at least the two actresses that play them bring enough personality and verisimilitude to the character that makes them likable. So they can actually work. I think they can actually work. But holy shit, Kate Bishop is terrible in the comics. And actually, like, not the problem with the Hawkeye show. She wasn't the problem with the Hawkeye show. Everything else was. Listening to you defend that feminist is making sick. You are literally the one that led the movement against the woke crap, and now you tread water for them. What the fuck happened? What feminist? What feminist? You mean Haley Steinfeld and Aman Vellani? Well, I mean, I just said there were improvement on the comic books. You did not hear me, biggest dickus, say that the shows were good. I didn't even watch Miss Marvel. I got one episode in and it was terrible. And Hawkeye is intersectional feminist trash, but it's mostly because of what they did to Hawkeye and Kingpin. They're fucking terrible. It's a terrible show. Oh, was it for Brie Larson? Well, I mean, I said that at the time, so it's not anything that I haven't said before. But Brie Larson hasn't said anything in years. She's gone. Captain Marvel is gone. Like, the fans won on that one. The Marvels was shit. But I think she's learned her lesson and just goes out there and talks about how good the movie's going to be. I mean, that's kind of what we want. So, yeah, I got nothing against Brie. But my friend, the MCU ain't dead. Oh my God, it's not dead. If you want to talk about Daredevil Born Again, for sure. Ooh, I put up a list, but there's 4 female characters who have taken over for male characters, and all of them suck. And they are just Disney female protagonists. But back to this real quick. If you think that they're actually going to address in a really meaningful way anything from phase 4 and 5, other than just having characters from phase 4 and 5 in the movie, I would question your intelligence. But we will see when the movie comes out. Brie understood those freaks won't go to see her movies no matter how much woke bullshit she said. Yeah, it's just simple. I mean, it's not like she's changed her ways. I mean, I think most actors are empty vessels, and that gets they're just NPCs that gets filled in. And I'm not defending what she said before because it was fucking stupid. But what's said about that has been said. It was said years ago, and since then, she shut her pie hole. Good. She was always horribly miscast as Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel sucks, has always sucked in the comic book. She was great as Miss Marvel, terrible as Captain Marvel, because when they made her Captain Marvel, they made her like quintessential feminist character, and that came from Kelly Sue DeConnick. And I'm glad she's gone. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Doomsday will absolutely be one of the tightest movies ever written, and it will resolve every open thread from phase 4 and 5 and deal with them with intelligence and engagement. And it won't be just one like throwaway line. Oh, yeah, Kang died. Next. Miss Marvel Carol Danvers was great in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated. I do agree. Yes, I used to buy and read Miss Marvel comics back in the 70s, but that's when she was, I don't know, she had a little more personality. They made her an alcoholic later, and they got rid of the character for a while, and she was best known for, you know, getting her powers sucked out by Rogue. But she was never going to be a prominent character in Marvel, like ever. And it was so forced. They forced it in the comic books. They forced it in the movies. And that's where we're, if we want to circle back to Jen Psaki, we're going to circle back. If you want to circle back to Marvel saying, forget phase 4 and 5, which is exactly what they're fucking saying, by the way. If you want to circle back to that, it's because in phase 4 and 5, they decided to bypass stories, many, many stories that they could have adapted forever. that sold in the hundreds of thousands to millions. They didn't even like really adapt the decent Joe Quesada era. They went right into Marvel Now and all new, all different Marvel. And these are comics that, they would kill for these sales today, but sold in the tens of thousands and were all canceled. I lost track of how many times Captain Marvel comics got canceled. I lost track how many times Miss Marvel comics got canceled. And the geniuses at Marvel Studios are like, despite having the data of failure in the corporation, it's in their publishing wing, but they could have looked at the sales number. It goes, you had real marketing data with real comic book fans going, well, how well did Black Captain America go over? How well did Riri Williams go over? And it would show you without the shadow of a doubt that they were absolute failures, but they didn't bother looking, or they thought, you know what? We'll do it better. We can pull this off. We can pull this off. And they didn't. Marvel knew phase 4 and 5 didn't matter before they even got into phase 5. Okay. They were talking about change prior to the Marvels coming out because they knew the Marvels was going to be shit. Now, did they know it was going to flop as hard as it did? I don't know. But they knew it wasn't great. They knew Captain African American wasn't great. That's why they tried to fix it and reshoot it. They knew Ironheart wasn't great. That's why they sat on it as long as they possibly could. Now, they were really behind the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which leads me to believe, and Daredevil Born Again, which leads me to believe that, well, having the desire to change and actually taking the steps to do it are two different things. The MCU was better off with Perlmutter. It was better off with him there to balance out Kevin Feige, because Kevin Feige has had absolute power for the last 6 years, and you see what we've gotten. So that's forced them to bring back Robert Downey Jr., bring back Chris Evans, bring back the Russo brothers, decide to, you know what? We're going to take a serious crack at Thor again. We're going to stop making him a clown. But they're also saddled with all the characters that they have created over the last 2 years. Are they going to kill them all? Well, that'd be awesome if they did. Now they're paying the price. Doomsday, if even half of the shit that they put off the top of my head, you can correct me if I'm wrong, chat. 14 movies in phase 4 and 5, 14 films. And then if we count the animated series that are somewhat in universe, like we won't count X-Men 97 or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but what if kind of maybe is? So 17 or 18 TV shows, series, specials, animated. So that's a fucking lot in the last 2 years that you don't need to pay attention to. Black Panther doesn't happen under Perlmutter. Stan Lee tried since the 90s. As far as the movie, that is untrue. Absolutely untrue. They tried to get a Black Panther movie with Wesley Snipes off the ground, if that's what you're talking about, if you're talking about the movie. But that is untrue. He was around when Marvel was trying to develop a Black Panther movie. The development was around prior to him showing up, but then he was still trying to get it off the ground. The one thing he said is he didn't think female action figures sold, and he was correct. Echo will not return at Avengers Doomsday, which is, I haven't heard much about it. It'd be a big gamble, but it's not unusual for Marvel to go off the reservation. I tried to get every joke into my Echo video. I think I did okay. Gavin Newsom as the Beyonder. That's good. I would love for the MCU to be dead and it's white boy summer and they just bring back all the great male characters. But I don't know how much is Simu Liu going to be in Doomsday. The fact that Chris Evans is returning and he won't be in costume as Captain America the entire film. Like he won't be holding the shield. And everybody wants to see Robert Downey Jr. come back as Iron Man and Chris Evans come back as Captain America. That's what everybody wants to see. I don't think you're going to get Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I don't think you're going to get it. And maybe Chris Evans becomes Cap in Secret Wars. But we'll see. We'll see. He's going to be Steve Rogers in Doomsday. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah. And then we can start asking, that's a good point, chat. Like Robert Downey Jr. is in his 60s. So is he going to continue playing Doctor Doom, or is he going to continue playing Iron Man? Is Chris Evans going to continue playing Captain America after this soft reboot? Are they going to bring back Simu Liu? Is Pedro Pascal, who's 50 and not straight, going to play Mr. Fantastic? Are the Eternals ever going to show up again? That would really be saying something if you don't even hear like a word about the Eternals in these two movies. That would be fucking hilarious. The Eternals weren't so eternal after all. But at least, hey, Marvel has got people talking about Marvel. And, you know, I don't like say Doomsday and Secret War are the greatest movies ever made. Where do we go from here? I wish I could tell you. I'm just going to say that they're not going to do what they need to do. They need to do a hard reboot. They need to recast Cap and Iron Man and Thor and Hulk. And it doesn't look like they're going to do that. It's going to be some weird soft reboot where they're going to carry over some characters, bring in some new ones, and it'll be like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers all existed on the same world the whole time. That's pretty much where they're going. Unless that changes, which sounds awfully confusing to me.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.